Oh, welcome back after a long weekend to New Leaf News presents the Legends Clubhouse. I am Bobby Kaboose, as always, not on a Monday, but on a Tuesday this time. Tuesday night Lawson.
Tu-
Tuesday night Turner. Is that better?
Ooh, that might be cooking somewhere.
TNT?
Tuesday night Turner only live on TNT. There
Yeah,
we go.
man.
Yeah, dude.
Or on TBS or somewhere Turner Broadcasting.
I was gonna say, cause isn't TBS also under TNT?
It is.
Wow.
It is. That's why AEW is on both shows or both networks.
I was gonna say,
And that's
cause
why WCW was back in the day.
whenever I use, so like if I'm not gonna like look up like the channel, I'll just open up like HBO Max, and it has because
Yeah.
HBO Max is either partnered or under TNT, TBS, all that stuff. All of their like live sports are just right there under HBO Max. Well,
Mhm.
it's so funny I brought up HBO Max because it was HBO Max, then it was fucking Max, then they changed the colors, and now I guess next year they're going back to Max and the OG like black and white.
No, they're going back to HBO Max.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're going back to HBO Max, but they're
Oh yeah,
changing
but
the colors back.
you just said that you're going back to Max, but
Oh, well, they're Max now. Damn it.
right, and it's kind of weird because it's a Tuesday right now,
It
right?
is. It
We
is a
yes
Tuesday, so
yes yesterday was Monday, right?
yeah, and it was Memorial Day.
Okay, so today's not Memorial Day.
Today's not Memorial
No,
Day.
I don't get today off of work, right?
It'd be great.
I wish I did. But how was your Memorial Day weekend, man?
It was
You had a
great. We
nice
had
weekend.
the 3 day weekend. It was nice. We had a bunch of people over yesterday, cooked out, barbecued, all that stuff. It was nice. It was super dope. And then we'll get into it. There was a lot of crazy sports stuff that happened over the weekend too.
Yeah, man. And guess what today is?
Tuesday.
Well, yeah, but it also marks less than 1 year away now. We are 364 days away from the release of Grand Theft Auto 6.
Assuming it doesn't get pushed
Start,
back.
start your countdown.
Assuming it doesn't get
Start your
assuming it doesn't get pushed back. But yeah, dude, with it's gonna be so funny because once again we're gonna hit these check marks 6 months away, 3 months
countdown.
away, 2 weeks away. Gets gets delayed for a month, and the whole world's gonna lose their
Dude,
shit.
I'm gonna put 364 like pieces of paper up and I'm gonna rip one away every day. But then if it gets delayed, I'll have to put some more back up. So it could be a process.
Like you're in jail, just marking on the days like in the cartoon.
Exactly. And then I'll be like, shit, bad behavior.
Man,
4 more months. Fuck.
that's so funny. But
But
yeah, dude, what did
but yeah, man,
Because I know you
I
had a
can't
busy
wait
weekend.
for that game. Hmm?
I know you had a busy weekend.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. What did we do? We went and had like a little game night on Friday with some friends.
Hmm.
Had some drinks. That was fun. Um, I had a doctor's appointment Saturday morning and everything went phenomenally. Um, then I had a clear the beer party. One of my friends, she was working at a bar that um closed down permanently. So like the last night they were like, well, I'm not taking all this alcohol, so just take what you want. So she had like a shit ton of fucking beer and liquor from the bar closing. So we went there for a little while,
Why'd it close
ate,
down?
had some drinks, chilled, watched some of the Tigers game, and they lost on Saturday. But then Sunday morning went golfing, played a nice round of 18. It was beautiful here. It was like 60 degrees, sunny. It wasn't, oh my God, it was like perfect weather. And then yesterday, barbecue. So
We love that.
it was a busy weekend, man. Very busy weekend.
Why'd the bar close down?
Oh, it just probably. I mean, the bar has been there for a while. I don't know if they were financially doing well or not, but
No,
I don't know.
no. Someone was just like, "Hey, we're closed down. Come, all you can drink."
Well, no. So, they closed down, and the my friend that worked there after they closed, they weren't giving all the stuff to customers. They were like, to the employees. They're like, hey, take what you want.
Gotcha.
So she fucking filled up her car with fucking a bunch of
Yeah.
liquor and alcohol and stuff. So she
Every
had
e-
it at her
everything you could
house.
imagine.
Yeah.
And they were
So
like, if you
uh,
want to come through, just pull up and all you can drink.
exactly.
Gotcha.
So she puts a little Facebook thing out there, puts the date. So we stopped there. Then we stopped there for a little bit. Then we went over to my boy Melvin Troy, his house, to watch WWE Saturday Night
Mhm.
and hang out a little bit over there. Had a few drinks over there. Um, yeah, so it was a good but busy weekend,
Mhm.
and I'm tired, and my eyes are barely open this morning, but I'm here, and we're doing our show,
We're doing the
and
show.
I'm excited to be here today.
We love that. We love that. But since you brought him up, that boy Scooble, he was a beast on Friday.
Dude, was it on Friday?
I'm.
No, it was Sunday.
It wasn't. Was it Sunday?
Yes, it was Sunday.
Yo, time flies,
Yeah.
dude. I'm once again long weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Probably completely over my
Yeah.
fucking head.
Yeah, he pitched Sunday. He went 9 innings, complete game, his first of his career. 13 Ks, only 2 hits let up. I think he had a no hitter, a perfect game through 5.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, because he didn't let up any walks, and it was his last. Oh, before the show started, you mentioned that the last pitch of the game was a 102.6 mile per hour. They had 103 on the screen. Whatever. I guess you round up. You're not gonna truncate it or whatever.
They don't show
But
the dots on the speedometer gun that's tracking the pitches.
right. So I guess it was the fastest thrown ball by a starting pitcher who went complete game for his last pitch ever recorded. So that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
But the question is Scooble a lock for the Cy Young this year? He is the betting favorite right now.
Right. It's really tough though, cause I assumed, well, not assumed, cause you know what they say about assuming makes an ass out of you and me. The just going off of last year, I'm like, okay, he's dominant. We'll see how we can start. And he had that rough. What was it? The first start was kind of shaky, first or second,
Yeah,
and then since then he's been awesome. Carlos Rodon is another. He's another pitcher to look at. In the opposite league, Paul Skeens is always going to be up there now since he's just rose to dominance. But yeah, dude, there's a lot of Rodon's teammate, uh, what's his name? Max Fried. That's another good one.
Max
Who's up
Fried.
there?
I was gonna bring him up because currently he's 7-0, so he's undefeated. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
don't look at records. Records are bullshit in baseball because
Right.
I mean they really are. They should really get rid of the stat. I mean, it's ridiculous because starting pitcher has to go 5 innings at least,
Mm-hmm.
and nowadays that used to be no issue. Nowadays you have a lot of guys that either um go just 5, or you bring in like the Tigers were doing last year. You just bring openers in, so they only pitch like 2 or 3 innings or 4 innings or whatever. But anyway, so you got to pitch 5 innings, and sometimes like if it's 0-0, like it's not your fault that your team can't score, or if you're losing 1-0 or 2-0, like if you get no run support, then you're not going to get the win. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know you don't and pitchers not necessarily they don't necessarily get the loss, because it could be tied or the team could come back. So and if their team comes back, that doesn't give them the win if they get taken out of the game anyway. So the win-loss record is complete fucking bullshit in
Right.
baseball. It's just something to make people look like, oh, like that guy's awesome because he wins a lot. No, that's irrelevant. But Max Fried's ERA is like 1.42. He's got the MLB's best ERA.
Mm-hmm.
He's got about 25 to 30 less strikeouts than Scooble, but that ERA being so low, man, and especially being a Yankee at Yankee Stadium, I think he's got some juice to actually bet on him if you're going to do a futures bet for Cy Young. I think he's at like plus 400 right now, so he's got some value to it.
Mm-hmm.
So something to look at, but I don't think Scooble's quite a lock yet. I think his dominant performance did put him up there, but um, I think he should be the front runner right now, but long term, if Max Fried keeps doing what he's doing, there's no denying him this, Cy Young for 2025.
Yeah, do you think that big market teams, stuff like that, do you think being in a certain market influences your influences if you whether win awards or not?
No, but I definitely think it depends. Like it, yes and no, because
Mm-hmm.
with him being a Yankee, I think with his ERA the way it
Mm-hmm.
is going to look more impressive because he plays at Yankee Stadium, if that makes
Right.
sense. Not, but if it was the, Tampa Bay Rays that played there,
Yeah.
it'd be the same scenario. Like, okay, he plays at a hitter friendly park, a very hitter friendly park, um, you know, and he's doing this. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Max Fried's only I think let up 10 earned runs all year,
Mm-hmm.
so pretty impressive. So,
Now,
I don't think the
oh,
big market, but like I
mm-hmm.
said, depending on what kind of ballpark you play at, I think plays.
Right. Now, another question. Do you think that we could see a pitcher, Scooble, to be specific, let's use Scooble for an example, make a strong case for for the MVP?
Not this year. Not with what Judge is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And on the reverse side, not what Otani's doing. Like
Yeah,
when you get those two guys, like I mean, though, especially Otani when he pitches, I mean,
he's
he could win
almost
MVP
there.
every fucking year
He's a,
because
he's almost back because I don't know if you saw, but I think he threw 22 pitches the other day in live warm-ups.
well, think about it. Who would you give MVP to
Him.
if it's not Otani in the NL? Because like when he pitches, because like who are you gonna like? He could be arguably the MVP every fucking year as
Yeah.
long as he puts anywhere probably from 25 to 50 bombs at the plate. If he hits around 300, and if he gets about 100 RBIs, okay, that's your offensive, and it's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's pretty good.
Mm,
And then you have the pitching side, which he's always been somewhat dominant as well. How are you going to give it to a guy that either pitches or hits? I mean, usually you give it to an offensive player. A lot of times, there's only been a few pitchers that have won both Cy Young and MVP in the same year.
mm,
But how are you going to give it to an offensive player that doesn't pitch? I mean,
right.
you can't. Like it's like it would be stupid to, but it's also stupid to give the Otani every single fucking year. But
Right.
you know, you could make an argument for it.
That's what I was kind of getting at, to where like you don't really see pitchers win MVPs anymore. Like who was the last
No,
pitcher? Like who was the last pitcher to win MVP? Was it Kershaw?
um, maybe him or Verlander. Verlander did it in 2012, I think.
Yeah. So it's like it's been a real long time since we've seen a pitcher. Now it's still,
Minus Otani.
yeah, he's one of one. Bro's just
Yeah,
insane. With
he's that unicorn, dude.
it's ridiculous. And what's super scary too is like last year, pure hitter, 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
And all he did was focus on hitting.
Yeah.
Like he was still recovering from elbow surgery and still put up the only 50-50 ever. Like it's insane.
Right. Right. And on the reverse side, you have Judge,
Mhm.
um, and I don't want to take anything away from Aaron Judge because he's a phenomenal player, and the fact that he hits for average as well
Mhm.
is amazing. Like, you look at him and you would think he would just be pure power. But like, is he gonna get knocked for playing at Yankee Stadium? I mean, like, I wonder if they have a new stat. I forget what it's called, but it's basically like when they hit a home run, how many ballparks
Mm.
in the 30 teams that are in the MLB how many ballpark or 32, 30, no 30, yeah.
Yeah.
How many ballparks would it actually be a home run in?
Hmm.
And for that, you really have to take in consideration of where he plays. I mean, his stats are going to be elevated because of a routine fly ball in one park at his,
Home run.
especially in that right field, like opposite way, you inflated numbers, man. So, um, that's where I think the argument against Judge would go.
Hmm.
But it'll be interesting. We're about a third through the season, and those three are the top as far as the favorites to win the awards, and then I think um the other Dodgers pitcher Yamamoto,
Yeah.
I think he's uh the front runner for Cy Young as far as betting wise in the National League. I think that's who I saw
Yeah.
yesterday. It's either him or it's either him or the other Japanese pitcher that they got this year.
Sasaki.
Yeah, it's
Um.
one of them.
It,
I
it,
know it's a Dodgers
it's
Asian
probably
pitcher.
Yamamoto because Sasaki's been hurt the past couple weeks, and Yamamoto's
Mhm.
just he's
Okay, so yes, it
been
is.
ridiculous. I was gonna say because yesterday, speaking of Yamamoto, goes 6 innings, 3 hits, 7 Ks, 2 walks, 2 earned runs.
Hmm.
So it's like, do you think we could see like a realistically? Because baseball is not like these other leagues where there's a salary cap. You can just
Hmm.
continuously spend damn near as much money as you want. How long do you think that this Dodger run will probably last?
Oh, yeah, I mean, like especially with the Japanese players, man, like they could basically be recruiters, like and I think they're implementing a international draft. So the MLB will actually, I think, have three drafts in one calendar year. You're gonna have your um, you know, rookie draft, whatever you want to call it, your between your college and high school kids. You have your Rule 5 draft, where if anyone doesn't know, in the off season, um, the MLB goes through a draft. You can select guys to be on your 40-man roster. If they're not on your 40-man roster, meaning they're in your farm system somewhere and not protected, a team can draft that player. They will
Mm,
automatically be on their MLB roster next season. If the team decides to, if the player's not working out, they can move them back down to AAA, but they will go back to that original team that they drafted them from. So
mm,
the rights get, say if, Lawson Turner gets drafted by the Detroit Tigers and he's really a Atlanta Brave. If the Tigers sent him back down to Toledo, their AAA team or their AAA affiliate, he would go back to the Braves organization. Just
mm,
so I'm clear. And then I think that I heard a few years ago that they're going to implement a international players draft. So when Otani came over here, he can't just sign with whoever the fuck he wants to sign with. Now they're going to be drafting the rights to these players, and I think that's good because like I said, like the Dodgers, the rich get richer. They can just basically be recruiters for Team Japan and be dominant, and because Japan is great in the World Baseball Classic
yeah.
all the time.
Hmm.
So, what stops them from basically having a little recruiting system and a farm system in Japan? So, um, but yeah, until that draft is like that, I
Hmm.
mean, especially like you said, no salary cap. It's the New York Yankees of the West. You know, even the owner of the Colorado Rockies had come out, I think previous to this season and was like, it's hard to be competitive with a team that has no payroll or no ceiling. So,
Hmm.
it is interesting. I think they tried to implement a salary cap before and they have the luxury tax and shit like that. So, it's just finding ways to win, and unfortunately for these small market teams, man, that don't want to spend money, it's difficult.
Yeah.
But I mean, Oakland's done it in the past. I mean, not winning a World Series, but they've gotten close. They've had good teams. Same with the Rays,
Mm.
and stuff. So teams can figure it out, but you know,
Yeah, it's kind of interesting too, as to where like it would be interesting if they were to implement kind of like what the soccer teams in like Europe do, where you have like your financial fair play rules, which means however much money your club brings in, that's how much money you can spend and delegate. Now,
yeah,
obviously that still means, you know, like your bigger market teams are gonna they're just gonna have more to spend, because like
hmm
Dodgers are selling out everywhere, home or away. Yankees are selling out damn near every game at home. So it's, you know,
yeah,
just the funds that are coming in
right.
would outdo teams like the Pirates or the Rays or the Athletics. You know.
Mhm. Well, that's why it's so like that. That's why they bring up the question like, oh, do we trade Paul Skeens? Like it's been going a popular topic on X and on the internet and shit. And like it's a double-edged sword, man. Like, you have one of the best young um pitchers in all of baseball, and you know this, and you have team control for years and years and years. You have control for, I think, close to 6 7 years of these guys.
Mm.
So do you keep him and try to build something off of that, knowing that probably in 7 years he's probably going to leave for a bigger contract? Or do you trade him while his name is hot and you
Just
know get the
get a
fucking
yeah, just get a Paul Skeens worth ransom.
Yes, yes, exactly. So, there was a rumor or a mock trade with the Tigers, and it was giving up three of their top five prospects in their farm system for Paul Skeens, and I think on top of a couple guys.
Mm.
So, it's interesting to, say that because, you ask a normal person, you'd be like, why the fuck would you get rid of Paul Skeens? But in the
Right.
big scheme of things, do you want
Tough.
a Paul Skeens, or do you want potentially, I say potentially, because who knows how these guys are going to turn out. That's another thing about baseball. You could have you could have every single person on that top 100 prospect list and none of them pan out. So, you know, it's
That's why
just it's such a crapshoot.
that's why hitting that ball is so damn hard, dude.
I know, man.
It's the I think it's the hardest thing in all sports, dude. To hit
Oh yeah, 100%.
like that's why when like the Astros were caught cheating and stuff like that, and a lot of people were like, "Well, they still gotta hit the fucking ball." Well, yeah, these dudes have their like there's your hand-eye coordination, then there's theirs, and it's a whole lot easier when you know, okay,
Yeah.
cut her inside, slide her away, you know.
100%. You got to see that. You have to see basically the pitch recognition. Basically, as soon as it leaves the pitcher's hand, you have no time to
Yeah.
think, or very minimal time to react. But
I
yeah,
saw.
man,
Oh, continue.
the Tigers were in a must win on Sunday.
Mm.
Scuba came through. They came through again yesterday, so it could have got pretty close in the AL Central with Cleveland if they would have swept the Tigers over. Freaking Cleveland, man, they are the Tigers' Achilles heel right now.
And it's so interesting too, because like for a team that made, they were in the ALCS right last year.
ALDS.
DS CS
Yeah, DS
is
comes first, division comes first, conference comes second.
yeah. Like it makes me laugh because when you look at their roster, you know, like you got J Ram. If you can get solid pitching around like the Guardians, they could be a real interesting team. But you know, like they lost last night to the Dodgers, and I
Yeah.
think they got two more games. Yeah, they got two more games in the series, and once again, bringing up Shohei, first pitch of the game, home run. It's just damn near what he does.
Yeah. Yeah, with speaking of Shohei and possible tsunamis, dude, Saturday night main event,
Yeah.
um I'm watching it, and I we started a little late, like I said, I had a few things to do, so I missed about the first half hour. So actually missed this part of the show where Bronson Reed joined up with the wise man Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
I knew something funky was going to happen in this match. I knew there was going to be a third man, but I was thinking it was going to be Sami Zayn. But Bronson Reed comes out, attacks CM Punk. They attack Sami Zayn some more, and then, dude, this faction is freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like already, I think they're great. I hope they add more members. I hope it's fucking huge, and I hope they just dominate.
It's always interesting too to see as to who gets paired with who, especially when it
Yeah,
comes to. I think that is almost as important when it comes to building a faction than just doing it on paper. Because like
yeah,
you have in theory a older guy in Seth,
hmm
and then you're pairing him with Braun Breaker, who's hot as hell, and then
hmm
you put in the another mouthpiece. Not saying that Seth can't cut his own promos because he can. He's awesome, but you add a figurehead like Paul Heyman in the mix, then you bring in another young talent.
yeah, yeah. Heyman just automatically gives you credibility.
For real.
And then the internet wrestling community, they can be some bastards. Um, they can, man. They complain about everything, dude.
Mhm.
Like you're not gonna make everyone happy, and like it seems like whatever they do, they're whatever direction they could go, in 50 fucking directions, you're gonna get fucking 50 people bitching, right? Or
Mhm.
49 people bitching. But so people after he joins, people aren't well. What happened? He just attacked Seth Rollins, and he did like 6 tsunami times. Well, why don't you wait until Monday Night Raw so they fucking can explain why they did what they did? God
For
damn, dude. So yesterday they explained it. Last night, Paul Heyman was like, all these dudes, fucking Bronson Reed did more damage to Seth Rollins in one night than Roman Reigns could, than CM Punk could, than X, Y, and Z could. That's why they had him join. That's why they reached out to him and were like, "Hey, put your differences aside, join our team, and be fucking dominant." And that's what he did. And wrestling fans, why don't you wait fucking 2 nights to wait to see why they fucking did what they did? Stop going on the internet. Stop fucking bitching about everything. God damn. Watch the fucking show. Enjoy wrestling.
some
You don't have to fucking criticize everything.
it seems if something struck a nerve, and I'm right there with you. If trade details or whatever drop and it's not explained and everyone's fucking busting balls about it, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, at the end of the day, it's a TV show. Everything's
Right.
gonna explain everything.
Right. Well, the thing is too is like pre social media,
You had to
like
wait.
that, and like if this happened 6 months ago, people wouldn't remember it, like or like they'd just be like whatever, like I
Mm-hmm.
guess and WWE would be able to decide if they wanted to show that or not, and now with social media or YouTube, like everything's at the click of a button, and people can go back and watch, and like, oh, well, remember he attacked him, and he fucked him up. Guess what? It's a work. It's not real. It's scripted, dude. Come on, man. It's a fucking soap opera. Let him
What is
explain.
what's the old expression? This is professional wrestling. It's not ballet.
Right.
Like that's
Fuck
my whole,
entertainment. It's not wrestling. It's entertainment. It's pro sports entertainment.
that's my whole thing
What
too.
they
It's
call
like
it.
that's my whole thing too. It's like when I was a super wrestling head and stuff like that. It's like everything. If you have any questions about anything, regardless when, it's gonna get answered.
Right.
Storyline, there could be big twists, or whenever there's a big twist or an addition, even if it's not immediate, they don't have to cut a 8-minute promo to explain it right then and there.
Right. And like the thing is too is like even like with The Rock not showing up at WrestleMania and then sending out Travis Scott. Was it weird? Yes. People are pissed that The Rock didn't show up. Okay, well, the story's not done. Like,
All right.
like they could still go in a million different directions and who knows what's gonna happen later. Like, yeah, if it just kind of fizzles out, okay, whatever. It is what it is. But fuck, man, they had fucking Jon Stewart fucking cost John Cena at SummerSlam like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't think that was stupid as shit, and they didn't go anywhere. That like he's just like, oh, I like Ric Flair, and I don't want John Cena to fucking break his record. That's why I fucking hit him with a chair. Okay,
They,
John Stewart, thanks. You know,
I
I
remember
don't fucking. Was it my favorite fucking moment in wrestling? No, but whatever, dude. Like they made it make sense. Like it's fucking wrestling.
I remember there was a Raw like in 2012. I think it was when Real Steel with Hugh Jackman came out. And he punched Dolph Ziggler in the face, and
Yeah.
Zack Ryder like beat him or something like that. And everyone's like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, so Hugh Jackman just beating him up. Oh, and when the movie The Wrestler came out with Mickey Rourke, that WrestleMania in like 2009, when he came in and beat the shit out
Mhm.
of Chris Jericho, it's like, oh, okay, this is just what, okay, it's just a spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, just fucking enjoy the show, man. It's like a fucking Broadway play, dude. Are you gonna go to a Broadway play and be like, "No, you suck. You, you
This
know,
makes no
you didn't
sense.
play Romeo good enough. You, I wear there out thou." Whatever the fuck he says. Like, he didn't
Right.
serenade her on the fucking balcony good enough. Like, no. Like, you're not gonna get mad at Tybalt. You're not gonna be mad at fucking the Friar or whoever the fuck else is in the Romeo and Juliet. I don't even know if Tybalt's in that one or if it's different. I don't know Shakespeare. I'm just using it as a goddamn example. But
Actually,
fuck, man. Like, you don't have
the
to criticize every single thing. But yeah, I'm super excited about this group, though. This group could
yeah.
be fucking awesome. I
Hmm.
think what they could do is I hope they add at least two more guys, and I hope it's a tag team because I don't think they would make Braun and Bronson a tag team, which they could call them like Braun Squared Son or something. I don't know. Just spitballing. It's
Right.
probably a horrible name. You can quote me on that. It doesn't matter. But I guess you could make them two a tag team, but it would be kind of weird because both of them are like
They're two big
kind of
dudes.
enforcers and shit. Yeah. So if you might need a tag team to go in with them. But I'm excited to see where they go with it, especially
Hmm.
under Heyman's tutelage.
Yeah, because what do we know about Paul Heyman? When you get attached to him, good things happen. It's
Yeah.
just the way it is. It's been going like that since.
Unless you're in ECW and you don't get paid, but it's another story for another day.
A. I don't know if you ever saw that Paul Heyman doc or whatever it was. They
Hmm.
were when they were asking him, "Oh, how'd you afford like the Sandman's entrance music?" We didn't. We just played it
Yeah.
and dealt with the repercussions later.
Right.
They can sue us
Right.
if they
Whatever,
want. We
dude.
don't have anything. That shit
I
was.
I gotta take what I don't have. Um, but yeah, man,
So funny.
overall, man, I think Saturday night was a great show, and I was talking to Melvin Troy on Saturday about Saturday night because he was asking me, he doesn't know the in-depth knowledge of wrestling, or he's a very casual fan, so he was kind of asking me the history and stuff, and I was saying that with them bringing back main event Saturday night, or whatever, Saturday night main event,
Yeah.
that they have to do stuff that's special. Like back in the day, you had the whole like two refs with Hogan and being like, what the fuck, him getting screwed out of the title, and shit like that, and very like iconic moments that are unique. They're not necessarily like, oh my God, that was the best match of the year, but like unique storyline. And I think they need to continue that to have Saturday nights be a special feel.
Hmm.
That's why I'm glad that they had the Bronson Reed joining him there. Um, I'm also glad that they had Cody Rhodes come back there, but they should have like stuff that you wouldn't really see on a Monday or a Friday. I
Right.
think if they're going to continue to do it, like, makes at least one very unique moment where people will remember it outside of, just a regular broadcasted show. You know what I mean?
Right. When it comes down to like these, cause is it considered a PLE or no?
No. Well, I guess so. I guess so because it is a premium live event. I mean, there's no more pay-per-views, but it's just on either Peacock or NBC. So I guess it would be considered PLE.
See, to me, it's like Raw and SmackDown are like your in quotations, and this is just I've been out of the wrestling game a minute. Those are your build up shows to where
Yeah.
your PLEs or your pay per views or whatever the case may be. So I agree with you where you at least you got to throw some kind of wrinkle in there
Hmm.
to where it's like, cause oh, we could have seen this on a Monday, we could have
Right.
seen this on a
Right.
Friday. Why are we watching it
I
now?
I agree. I agree. But yeah, it was from top to bottom. It was pretty good. It set up, John Cena, and Logan Paul, versus Jey Uso
Hmm.
and Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank. Which, again, I think that's going to be a good match. There's rumors that Big Jim and Travis Scott will be added to the match for a six man, which again, I'm all for. So I don't know why Logan Paul gets so much hate too. I think he's been great. Um, I think he's going to be a future world champion strictly for his YouTube viewers and shit.
Right.
Do I think the guy's a nice guy and would I want to hang out with him? Probably not. But he's good on the mic. He's a natural heel and he's and
Hmm.
he's great in the ring. But I don't know why he gets so much hate.
It probably leans into the natural heel ability and someone that's been in the spotlight for the past 10, 11 years, and someone that's gone through the controversies and shit like that. He's a very memeable bad guy to where
Yeah.
it's easy and fun to hate him.
So, question for you. With because WWE now has an NIL system, that they can give to, athletes, shit like that, college athletes or people trying to get into the business.
Right.
Um, what do you think about, as far as WWE or wrestling in general or any kind of sports, I guess, or entertainment stuff like that, going for like ex athletes versus guys that like just want to be a wrestler?
It's real tough because a lot of some failed athletes that's just, oh well, I'll try out this wrestling thing, as opposed to
Hmm.
that person who, oh, growing up I fell in love with this is what I want to do,
Hmm.
this is what I'm going to practice, I'm going to work my mic skills, ring skills, because all that stuff can be cool. I'm pro wrestler over ex athlete
Same.
due to we've seen a lot of ex athletes, they just don't pan out, or
Right.
they pan out and there's like great example is one that panned out, but if you ask a casual, oh, he's like, look at Goldberg.
I, exactly. I was gonna bring up him too. Like, I mean, even in his Hall of Fame speech, he was like, this isn't the Hall of Fame that I wanted to be in. Like, okay, dude, then don't
So
fucking be
you're
here.
so you're
See
shitting on
ya.
the whole business at that
Right.
point,
Like,
and then, and I'm not
it's
saying,
the
oh,
business that made you. You couldn't make it in the NFL. The
yeah,
business that made you, you're pissed at. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
and then you see a lot of other ex athletes that do work out, like Brock Lesnar works out.
Right.
And
Right.
like, I know he wasn't there for a long time, but Matt Riddle, ex UFC
Mhm.
fighter. It's hilarious that I bring up Riddle and Brock. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've seen the clip of them like interacting in the back
Yeah.
after Matt Riddle says like, "Oh, Goldberg just kind of sucks. I don't like his style or
Yeah.
whatever." And a lot of people in the comments are like, "That's the first time that Goldberg was like bucking at somebody, and Matt's just sitting there like, okay, bro," and
Yeah.
everyone was
He's like, I'm
like,
not your bro.
yeah, and fucking so I saw some people in the original comments of the video was like, that would be a pit bull and a chihuahua, and Goldberg's the chihuahua, because those legit UFC guys, to the point to where,
Right.
yeah, they're not 260. However, they grab you, you die. Like, that's just
Yeah.
the way it happens. Like,
Yeah.
I've been in countless arguments.
100%.
I've been in countless arguments with my boys. Like, oh, I could beat the shit out of Amanda Nunes. I'm like, dude, Shut the fuck up. Her job
Right,
description is professional ass kicker. You cannot
right,
like. There's levels
a
to like.
hundred
I
percent.
don't care, and a lot of their internal beliefs. I was like, dude, I'm two whatever, or I'm like 205. She is 140. I'm like, she's a professional ass kicker. She
Right,
grabs you, you going to sleep, or something's getting broke. Like it's just the way it
right.
is, dude.
And even if you do hit her, she's used to getting hit. Like unless you
That's
knock her
my
ass out in one fucking punch,
that's
like
my whole thought process. And it's like, the gym bros are saying it, and I'm like, well, listen here, fucking Chad. You cannot beat professional ass kickers. I'm sorry.
oh my god. But like kind of going on to the same question. So
Mm.
I'm not sure if you are a fan of Around the Horn.
I've heard of the show. I've seen clips. I couldn't, pitch it off the top.
Okay, so it
Is that
was
the one that
really
just
big when I
ended?
was
Is that the one that just
yes,
ended?
yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It was really big when I was in high school back in the early 2000s. It's been around for 22 years.
Yeah.
Um the concept of the show is they have a panel of guys and a host, and he asks the different guys different questions
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. I mean, similar to a show we were previously on, but the host wouldn't interrupt everyone after he said the question.
Right.
But anyway, so at the end of the show, whoever wins their fictitious game and gets the most points or whatever, has their 30 seconds of FaceTime, and they're able to talk about whatever that they want to talk about that's on their mind. Well, Tim Kalshaw, he won the final episode that aired, I believe, last Friday. And I didn't see it live, but I saw the clip of what he said during his FaceTime. And I wanted to bring this up because he had mentioned that ESPN is no longer hiring journalists. They are hiring ex-athletes to analyze their sports, and we all know this, and it's not something
Yeah.
new, and it's familiar to us throughout sports, and it seems like more and more networks are doing this too. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think about the ex-athlete now covering sports? Because I think Kalashaw made a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just want to know what your opinion is, and then I'll tell you mine as well.
So my thought process on your ex athletes, my whole I feel like Shannon Sharp did such a good job because he was the first athlete to talk about sports outside of the one he played, and he was
Mm-hmm.
excellent at it. We've always had, for my whole lifetime, it's been ex-athlete, journalist, host, whatever. Like there will always be your non-ex-professional athlete there. Um, I'm a little nervous that it'll go too far into it because yes, they are knowledgeable about the game. This and the ability to talk about it, not X's and O's, but to bring whether you're now there are certain players like your Draymond Green, your Charles Barkley, your Shaq, where they're just naturally entertaining as well. However, you have to bring in my opinion, to go back to the original point, I like it. However, I think it can be gone. It can go too far to where there's too many ex-professional athletes.
I think there's already too many professional athletes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between knowing the game. In anyone, I feel like anyone can know the game. Just because you're not athletic doesn't mean you don't know the game. You
Right.
know what I mean? Um, and they're and being entertaining.
Mm.
You hit it right on the head. Like some of these dudes are not entertaining. Kendrick Perkins, I don't know how he has
Bingo.
like this dude. I'm like, dude, like you are dry as hell. Like I don't want to listen to you. I don't like and not him in particular, but like there's athletes in general get a bad rep of I'm not here to play school. I'm here to play my sport, right?
Right.
And so you essentially have a bunch of uneducated people like just because they played a sport like doesn't mean A, they're entertaining, or they can put sentences together. Like I think if I'm gonna watch TV and watch analysts and all this shit, I'd rather be entertained
Yeah.
than being like, oh well, you know, this dude's, free throw percentage when it's 62 degrees inside the stadium is, 75.3%.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care. Fucking
The
tell me something funny, or tell me something that it's gonna keep my attention.
Right, and like, and once again, to your point, Kendrick Perkins is a great one because even just a lot of the stuff that, like, I've seen clips of him saying, "Oh, I locked, Jokic wouldn't want to see me." Like we saw Jokic as a rookie give you crazy work, and then there are a lot of other. Once again, it's almost, I don't want to discredit the athletes that are doing a really good job, because there are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
really good athletes that are doing a really good job. Mark Schlereth, former NFL offensive lineman. I think he's a two-time MVP. Might be, no, not MVP. Super Bowl champ. I don't know why the fuck I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
MVP. Two-time Super Bowl champ. Really knowledgeable and entertaining. Works for FS1, and it's like that you have a. I don't know if they can also separate an online/TV personality and then their game personality.
Yeah.
Like Emmanuel
And
Ocho, I think terrible.
right. And for the fact, like, I think it was Fox that gave Tom Brady a 10-year deal before he even called a game, like, is absolutely ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Like, like, yeah, is he probably the greatest quarterback of all time? Yes. But that doesn't mean
Oh, my camera has frozen. Give me you can, oh, yep, there we go. You can keep talking. I will be right back.
all right, now I'm here by myself like Garth. But yeah, so Tom Brady gets this 10-year deal. He's never called a game yet, and all of a sudden we have to listen to him for 10 years. Like, and on top of that, he took the spot of Greg Olson, who I thought was phenomenal at it. Um and he's I think the number one broadcast on Fox, which is absolutely ridiculous. Just because you're good at the
And I'm
sport
back.
doesn't mean
And I'm a lot
that
brighter.
again. Did you hear me this whole time, or was
Oh,
I just ranting by myself?
I was listening. I was replugging in
Okay.
another. Yeah, I
So
got to hear
yeah,
the
I was
entire
saying
time. Right.
Greg Olson, I think was did a phenomenal job, and he got the fucking shit end of the stick
Mhm.
because Tom Brady just decided that he wants a multi-million-dollar deal, and I'm all about people getting their money, fam. But fuck, dude, do you really have to give multi-millionaires more multi-millions of dollars? Like, give
That
someone else a chance to be entertaining and do shit. Like, again, there are people that are very good at their job as far as ex-athletes, like Greg Olson, Andy Dirks locally for the Tigers does a phenomenal job.
mhm.
But like, you also need that guy that like can entertain. I don't want to see all
Tim
these goddamn ex-athletes.
Tim Legler on ESPN also does a phenomenal job whenever he's on any
Mhm.
NBA broadcast. Now, the thing too, and I'm right there with you. It's really hard to differentiate, going from online personality to sportscaster, someone
Mhm.
like that. To me, I'm right there with you as to it can be a little much at times. However, I believe in the short term, I think it'll be bad. I think there'll be a lot of overhires for ex-athletes.
Yeah.
When I saw the money that Tom Brady got, it was 10-year, 365. I think it was 10-year, 365, $375 million, and I'm like,
Mhm.
that contract alone was worth more than his entire NFL earnings for his
Yeah.
career. And I thought Greg Olson was phenomenal, and I'm right there
Same.
with you. So not only does it cut into Greg Olson's money, he's on the B team now. As mentioned, his pay got cut, and I think
Mhm.
Tom Brady will work out. But in that instance, it's like that's name over any experience not doing it. Now, from everything that I have heard, from everything I've heard, read, seen, even before his first game, he was at the Fox lot in California, damn near couple times a day just practicing and stuff like that, because it is something completely different. It's something new. Then the preparation might be the same. However, from enunciating to and when not to show emotions, and another thing, knowing when and when not to speak. That
Mm-hmm.
to me, to go back to wrestling, Pat McAfee, for me, he's a lot of hit and or miss. Because there are times in which I think, oh, Pat either needs to chime in now, shut up here, don't talk here, go this and that and the third. To where Michael Cole's been doing it for like 26 years, however long. He knows
Yeah.
when the crowd needs to be the commentator.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing when and when not to talk is so big when it comes to those panelists or doing play-by-play and stuff like that too.
Yeah, and you make a great point with that. I absolutely love Pat McAfee on there.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
I don't, you know, you kind of look at the cues more in depth than I do. You know, as far as being entertaining, oh my God, dude,
Oh,
that dude,
the
and the
entertainment factor is so there.
and the people that give him shit online against again the fucking stupid ass wrestling community, internet wrestling community, dude. Like if you don't like Pat McAfee, man, like why the fuck are you watching wrestling? Like that dude, like his enthusiasm and his lines and all that shit, he goes perfect with Michael Cole. And like Cole rings him back in. He rings him
Oh,
back in. Like, you
that's why
know.
when you pair someone new with someone, really experienced, they can kind of not carry the way. However,
Right.
there are a lot of things that they can do in order to complement each other one to one. I don't know if you saw this at Pat McAfee's first WrestleMania. Before they go out there, Pat shows up and he's wearing like gym shorts and
Mhm.
like a not a crop top but like a wife beater kind of per se,
Yeah.
and Michael Cole like chews him out in front of everybody, in front of Vince. He's like, what the
Right.
hell are you wearing, dude? And Pat walked to the locker room and was packing his shit. I was finna leave. He said, dude, you just embarrassed me in front of Triple H, Stephanie, Vince, everybody in Gorilla, and he just chewed me out in front of everybody. Fuck this, I'm out. And people had to go back and be like, no, it's not. It's not like
Right.
that, dude. It's just yeah. It was just that's a really good story when it comes to like, oh, coming prepared for certain individual things. Because I agree with you to where if he's from a pure entertainment perspective, he's awesome, and he's
Hmm.
always going to be awesome, especially when he was right when he first retired. He was doing like his show on the side, but he would also perform live at some local comedy clubs and stuff like that, just to
Yeah.
get the in front of talking in front of people microphone experience and stuff like that. The
Hmm.
entertainment factor is there to me, and I'm right there with you. Can you entertain?
You're right.
And if you cannot, and all you bring is the X's and O's, there are certain spots for that. However, for your casual viewer, not everyone gives a shit about X's and O's.
Right, and that's why like ESPN in particular, or even like a Fox Sports, they should be more based off entertainment
Hmm.
instead of facts. You can because your diehard fans can go to MLB Network, they can go to NFL Network, they can go to their specific thing
Hmm.
to get those X's and O's, to get those numbers, to get those like analytics. Sports Center, we need your opinions. We need, an entertainment factor of like, yeah, this guy fucking sucked yesterday or whatever, or yeah, he was on
Right.
fire. Boom shakalaka, whatever the fuck you want to talk about. Um, and there's gonna be or how what good programming is on ESPN and nowadays? Like you could have your specific shows. Like I don't know if MLB Tonight's still a thing. I don't think it is because I never see it on the fucking program. Um and shit like that. Have your fucking specific shows for your specific thing, but your sports center and shit like that, man, or your like talk,
Your first
radio type
takes.
shows, man, you know, just be entertaining.
That is the number one. That is the fundamental of your. If you're going into the entertainment business, be entertaining. Say some goofy shit. Throw out some hot takes. Don't don't go out, especially if you are a former player, which we're fucking not.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to say I would have done this, this, and this, and we can us as the internet, because the internet's forever undefeated. You don't think they're gonna go and look it up?
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
think that
exactly.
they're gonna go and find out every small individual thing about whatever game you talked about? They're gonna go
Right.
and find it to where even if you are an ex-professional athlete, your casual fan are still gonna go find out what you're talking about.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, man, like even like the sports centers do and the other shows, like they literally talk about the same fucking 3 to 5 topics through every
Cowboys,
fucking show.
Cowboys, LeBron, the Chiefs.
Like
That's about it.
I'm like, dude, like what happened to actually showing like highlights and showing what happened during the game and shit? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just like fucking MTV. I mean, I know music videos aren't a thing anymore, but or
Right.
really, but like literally have no music anymore. Like what the fuck is this?
I don't remember the big dude on ESPN's name, but it was like, and I think he's only in season for the NFL season, but it's like you're the best 90 seconds of the NFL weekend. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
remember or
Oh,
even know what I'm
Chris
talking.
Berman?
Yes,
Yeah.
do shit like that. He's entertaining.
Yes.
Be hype. Have your generic ESPN Clutch Time soundtrack
Yeah.
going on, and just go through the sports and stuff like that. You know,
Right. Yeah, like all these dudes that like Rich Eisen and
awesome,
Stuart Scott and shit,
awesome.
like it's like
SVP.
yes, like dudes like that aren't gonna exist anymore, and it's a damn shame,
It is
Like
a damn
like I said,
shame.
dude, like you shouldn't just because you played a frickin' sport doesn't mean you can go on TV and talk about it or be entertaining or you
it's
know
it's a completely
whatever.
different it's a completely different skill set from
Yeah,
gaming to talking, because whether you think it or not, talking is a skill.
right,
To now to the in-depth knowledge that someone may or may not have over your generic journalist or sportscaster is going to be completely different, but they are talented in their own way too. Like, you look over the past couple months, the FS1 took Danny Parkins, radio guy out of Chicago, and gave him a TV opportunity, and him, Schlereth, and I don't remember there's a old bald dude. He's a Jets fan, so I don't really give a shit about his name. But they've been killing it, and it's the ability to talk is such an undervalued skill.
yeah,
However,
100%.
it's one of the most important things in that line.
Right. And like I said, dude, like you don't need to know, in-depth sports ball to be entertaining. Just let someone fucking talk and do their thing and if someone is that hardcore and wants to know, Paul Skeen's whip, go look it up.
Go look it up if you want to know Paul Skeens whip. Go look it up.
I'm just saying, dude. Like it's not like back in the day where you do the search the fucking newspaper or have to watch Sports Center and catch it for one out of the 8 hours that they played it back to 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 back. You
Right.
know?
The It's so hilarious that it goes back to fucking Paul Skeens. I saw a picture on Twitter the other day. It was like through his first 35 starts, he has like a 17-14 record, and his ERA is like 198, and everyone's like, "That's a shitty record for a sub 2 ERA." And
That's
I'm
because
like,
records don't fucking matter, dude. That's my point at the beginning of the
it
show.
goes
But
back to
yeah,
the point.
um,
It's funny,
yeah,
dude.
so I'm glad you had a good weekend. I'm glad we're back on, here on Tuesday. We will be back tomorrow and Friday, per usual, and then next week get back onto our regular scheduled programming.
Mm.
Um, but check us out at newleafnews.network or .com. Both will take you to the same great site. We have great daily content, whether it's sports, entertainment, horoscopes, politics, gaming, sports betting. We cover it. Check us out on Instagram, on X, on Facebook at New Leaf News. Um, yeah, subscribe to our show. Like I said, we're usually live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Today was the exception because of Memorial Day being yesterday. We wanted to give our, you know, me and you some extra day off, and you know, let everyone enjoy their holiday.
Mm.
Um, what else? Check me out. My other show is at 64-Bit Legends. You can check us out wherever you can get podcasts, including New Leaf News under the podcast and more. Our most recent episode, we talk about, you know, AI being your guide in life. Um, so check us out. Of course, you know, parental advisory sticker on there. Explicit content sometimes, but
What that means, kids, if you're around and you got some parents around that you could hear, put on some headphones.
yeah, put your headphones on. Um, you
Oh,
know,
great.
um, and then, you know, check us out on X and Instagram as well at 64-Bit Legends, at Bobby Caboose on X, on Instagram at Lawson underscore 1226. Again, we had just hit his um what, 24th and a half birthday.
Shut the
Um,
fuck up.
you're 24 and a half now.
Yeah, I turned 25 this year.
Okay, so yeah, you're 24 and a half now,
Who the fuck
right?
counts the half?
Huh?
Don't tell me you count the half.
Everyone counts a half, dude. Ask a little kid how fucking old they are, and they're gonna say I'm five and a half
I'm
or five
free.
and
I'm
five and three quarters.
I'm free and a half.
Hey, later this week, I'm going to turn 37 and 11 twelfths. So, you know, you can suck it.
And
Um,
11/12 is crazy.
but yeah, so you still have time to get Lawson his birthday gift. I know it's around Christmas time, but you know, he's got that Amazon wish list that's fucking growing by the day. You know, send your Cash App out to him so they can send you $5.
Maybe
Um,
maybe Santa can hit me with this bag and shit coal on my head.
exactly. But yeah, check his shit out. He's a phenomenal bettor. So if you you know, if you like to make money, check out his articles on New Leaf News as well. But we will see you tomorrow, Lawson. If you want to take us out, I think I covered everything.
Covered everything. We crossed our I's and dotted our T's, or however fuck that saying goes. Yeah, I did. I fucked up on purpose. Yeah. Good?
All right, just make it sure,
Were you
man.
just
I
doing
did
the
well. Yeah, I mean, I graduated before you were born, so I know the educational system
I
has
know.
gone downhill. So,
Wow. Anyways, for New Leaf News and for the Legends Clubhouse, I'm Lost Turner. That's Bobby Caboose. And thank you guys for tuning in on a Tuesday. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Shh. I'm watching. What's the rest of the shirt say? I'm watching what? Wrestling?
I'm watching wrestling.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, anyways, thank you all so much for watching. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning. Later.